Hi babies, welcome back to a Monday's episode. Yes, I had taken like a 3-week break there, but I'm back and I'm fresh and I'm charged. I finally feel good. I finally feel somewhat stable and back on my feet. I just didn't want to show up for you guys unauthentic and not my true self. I wanted to bring to you guys the whole package, who I am as Miranda, as a person, and I just wasn't in a mental state to do that. So I took a week to myself and then I took another 2 to go to Maui, Hawaii, and really enjoy myself on the beach there with my friends and my family. But the update is not what you guys came here for. You guys came here for finding out why you can't have an orgasm or why it's so hard to hit your O. So I'm going to tell you 7 different things that could potentially be blocking your orgasm or blocking you from coming. Now, I'm not just going to give you the negative in this video. I'm also going to give you the positive with some solutions on how to get you on track to having even more orgasms. But why would I give that to you at the beginning of the video? Because that wouldn't make you guys want to stay and watch it all the way to the end. Now, if you are new here, welcome. I'm Pleasurebhabiee, aka Miranda, and I would love to invite you to take this moment to like and subscribe to this video, because every single Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time is when I bring to you the video of the week. And yeah, it's usually taboo or something to do with relationships. Hell, I mean, I'm about to add some sexology into this because that is the program that I'm currently taking, and I will be accepting clients soon. So if you are into a somatic sex therapy or having arousal issues, relationship issues, communication, maybe you're stuck in a trauma response or whatever it might be, I could probably help you with that. But I am not yet taking clients, but soon will be. However, if you guys have questions, you know where to find me at Pleasurebhabiee on Instagram, and you know what to do. Head into the DMs and drop it with a question, please. No unsolicited D pics. Like, I'm a little bit over that. That is getting excessive, and nobody wants to see that unsolicited. But anyways, let's get started with this week's video. So before we completely submerge ourselves in all this juiciness, there are a couple of things that I just want to get off my chest and lay it out on the table, because I feel like sex education in our schools here in Canada, I don't know what America's like, but I'm assuming it's relatively the same, they left out, okay? So let's deal with that first. So I want to start off by saying that orgasms aren't the end all be all. Yeah, it's not. You don't always have to use an orgasm as the measure for pleasurable sex. In fact, you can actually have really amazing sex without an orgasm. In fact, you can have really amazing sex without having an orgasm. Trust me, I know, because like I say in all my other videos, it doesn't always happen. And number 2 is that you're not alone. All genders can actually struggle with an orgasm block or the ability to actually have an orgasm. And in fact, many people have never had one ever, which is what we call pre-orgasmic. Now, like I said, you are not to blame and you are not alone. We are all in this together. And hey, I'm a sex educator here who knows my body fairly well. And I've had times where I haven't been able to have an orgasm. I've had multiple months where I've hit a complete orgasm block because of depression or my anxiety or a lack of communication or not understanding my new body and how it's presenting new touches and new desires forward. But that is exactly why I made this video. So let's get to it. Let's start with number 1 on the 7 things that could potentially be blocking you from coming. So I'm sure you guys have all heard this before, and this is a term called performance anxiety. Now, performance anxiety can show up in a couple of different ways. Now, it can actually be sex that you are scared of. It could be maybe the way that you taste, the sounds that you're going to make, the way that you smell, the way that your vulva or your penis looks. Maybe it's the positions you're going to be all tangled in. But these things are all brakes. We're not trying to hit the brakes. We're trying to hit the gas. And unfortunately, the adult film industry have painted this beautiful, perfect picture of sex. And that's just not the case. Sex is silly, it's messy, it's funny, you make sounds, you have fluids coming out, there's spit, there's freaking gases that come out, you queef, whatever it might be, you have to be okay with these things happening. And if you're not okay with that, then maybe you're just not ready, or maybe you're not comfortable with your partner, or you're not comfortable with yourself. And that's okay, because those are things that we can work on. But the main thing to remember is to relax, to let go, and just enjoy what there is happening in front of you. A lot of the time, my biggest recommendation is just taking a deep breath, because it's not obvious that you're stressed. Because guess what? People breathe deeply while they are having sex. So just incorporate it into a moan, okay? Take a deep breath in and then let out. And that is going to expand you and regulate your body. And hell, sometimes I find myself taking multiple deep breaths. But do you think my partner knows, or my play partner knows? Absolutely not. They think I'm having a great time, when really I'm just trying to regulate my body because I'm anxious as all hell for whatever reason that might be. But it is totally normal to have or experience performance anxiety. It only becomes a problem when you can't control it and it starts impacting your sex life on a regular basis. Number 2, like I said before, our sex education system sucks. It is trash. The only thing it tells you is to not get pregnant, to not get STDs, and to be abstinent. Like, what? Like, where's the pleasure? I mean, hell, we don't even teach about masturbation or self-gratification. Touching is just shameful, and that is just not right at all. How we discover our own bodies is through self-exploration. Next up is something that's also extremely important, and it's mental stimulation. It's not just stimulation of the genitals or the erogenous zones. It's about stimulating the mind, baby. It's about desire, the want, the need, the craving of the affection of the other person, and making that known to them. This is a gas. This is turning us on. This is not a break. So if you have a lack of mental stimulation and you're not desiring your partner or not receiving the amount of desire that you require, then we have issues, and the lack of desire is definitely going to be blocking your orgasm. So you need to drop into a proper headspace. Maybe it's something like reading erotic poetry or an erotic book, or watching a steamy section in a movie, or even using your imagination to what you want done to you. And hell, even better, tell your partner what you want them to do to you. Number 4 is lubrication. Okay, now I know people have and throw shade on lube, and I'm here to tell you, excuse me, it's not always linked to arousal level, okay? Sometimes there's multiple different factors that could be taking place to not getting your vulva wet, and there's nothing that we can do about that. That is our bodies, and we are here for who we are. Because when you're dry, it can be painful, it can be irritating, and it can even lead to sexual injuries, which, I mean, we don't want any injuries on our genitalia or on our booty hole, really. So use the lubrication. Don't be shy of reaching over and grabbing it. Don't be shy for asking, because guess what, babe? You really shouldn't even have to ask. Your partner should want you to receive pleasure. And the more lubrication, the more chance that you have at hitting your orgasm. It allows for longer, more pleasurable, more adventurous sex. And are we not here for that exact reason? Yes, because we are trying to do everything that we can so that we can stop these 7 things from blocking our orgasm. Number 5 is something that isn't always necessarily in our control either, and it's to do with your hormone levels. Now, whether that be menopause, which can lower your testosterone levels in your body, which is decreasing your sex drive, as well as weakening your pelvic floor muscles. And your pelvic floor muscles are what help contract to make an orgasm and run it through your whole body. Now, something that a lot of us are already on is birth control, and that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. I know there's 2 different ways to look at it, but if you are taking birth control, awesome. This could actually be something that is inhibiting you from hitting your orgasms. This is because when you add different hormones into your bodies, it can reduce your sex drive and mess with your physiological functioning in your body, such as lack of lubrication and lack of blood flow to the genitalia. So number 5 is something that I can personally relate to, and it's actually being on an antidepressant. So when you're on an antidepressant, usually it affects your serotonin. So your body is keeping the amount of serotonin and not allowing it to break down. And when our serotonin is increased, that's our feel-good happy drug. Oddly enough, it's the one that also drops our sex drive down. Now, it's really important to remember that when you are in this state, that to be kind to yourself, be kind to your body, be kind to your mind. You don't have to have sex if you don't feel like it. You do it when you are ready. But yes, the depression and the anxiety and the medication, it can suppress your orgasm and push it further away. For me personally, this is something that I did struggle with, and I probably will do a little bit more of a personal video on something like that because I did manage to hop over that hump, and we are back to having orgasms, babies. But like I said, there's absolutely no pressure. Take your time. Your mind has to be right before you can get into your body and actually experience sex for the fullest and be able to relax properly. Because nobody can relax when they are depressed. And nobody thinks about sex when they're depressed either. Am I right or am I right? Now, number 6 is going to be trauma. Yes, obviously trauma can definitely block your orgasm, especially if it's been sexual trauma. One of the things that you can do to kind of work your way through it, because it is a process and it is gonna be very confronting and you're gonna have to be very vulnerable and cracking open that book again. You pretty much need to realign and reassociate with sex and physical touch, where it's no longer reminding you of that trauma, where you can rebuild that connection with sex and self. Obviously, this takes a lot of therapy and tons of patience and being kind to yourself once again. And to always remember that you are not to blame and you are not required to have sex. Hell, some survivors never have sex ever again, and that's their choice, and that's also your choice as well. And I also lied to you guys, trauma was number 7. So I don't know where I lost count, but my ADHD brain and this being my new video back, it's been a gong show, let me tell you. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go do so because I just updated my stories and yeah, I tried filming with a dead battery. Duh. So my biggest tip to help you achieve these orgasms is to stop trying. Stop trying to orgasm. Stop trying and just receive the pleasure for what it is. Enjoy the experience. Take those deep breaths. Relax. Maybe take a hot shower. Get yourself into the mood before you walk forward. And don't make the orgasm your goal. Make it non-goal orientated. Just experience your body for what it is. What are those sensations happening underneath your fingertips or underneath your partner's fingertips? Take the pressure off because the only person putting pressure on your orgasm is you. And if it's your partner, that needs to be a very, very large conversation to be had. Because like I had stated in the beginning of the video, pleasurable sex is more important than the orgasm because the orgasm doesn't always happen, but the pleasure during sex should always happen. And feel free to ask yourself questions like, do I experience pain during sex? Does this position make me feel uncomfortable? Am I upset? Was I in the mood? And ask yourself and reflect on those before you walk forward and before you judge yourself for not being able to come or have an orgasm. Because like I said, we all struggle with orgasms from time to time and some people never ever hit them. And that's totally fine too. However, my goal being Pleasure Baby is to make sure that you have an orgasm. Not every time, but at least experience it sometimes because it is amazing. But pleasurable sex is also an unreal, okay? Now, I really hope that this video brought some clarity to the bedroom for you and why you might potentially be struggling with an orgasm. Now, if you guys have any questions, please drop them down below or head over to my Instagram. My link is in the description. And you guys can hop into DMs where you are in a more private area and you don't have to broadcast it on YouTube for everybody to read. And I always answer back with a voice message because I suck at texting and I suck at like typing because it's just too time consuming. Now, if you haven't done so already, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel because you will not get the notifications. And don't you want to see what's next Monday's episode is? Okay, so I'm going out tonight and that is why I filmed on Saturday because I am a responsible adult. Okay, let's adult and I will see you guys next Monday, babies. Bye.